it belongs in the Godan. It belongs here. Godan. Where should I put it? Godan right here. So Godan. And Aru is this one, the rule, this one. So you conjugate it, it'll become Atta. So this one is the one that I wrote wrong. So Moshiwake arimasen for this one. I'm so sorry. Okay.
大丈夫。渋い。
Okay, so last week we've covered past tense short forms, where from like what do you call it? From the verb like yomu to change the verb to a past tense, you know, like utsuru, you change it the last hiragana to ta, and then nubu to change it to nda. You know this one, this stuff.
I don't mind.
So this one
I
I've
fucking,
already shared.
Hey, for every Gen 1,
the,
yeah?
what you call it, in the Nihongo chat previously, and
That's
I
so
have
evil.
pinned it before. So for those who haven't downloaded, you can just re-download that at the pins, one of the pins. But today we'll be learning the continuation of it, which is past tense negative. But before we go into past tense negative, let's do a bit of revision on how to do present tense negative, because it is quite what you call it, related to this one when learning the past tense version. So I'll do a revision for this one first. So this one is more to writing. I'm so sorry that today's class there won't be a lot of reading actually. So it is this one. So the reason why I separate into half, complete entire house that can attend internet. No problem. It's okay. No worries. No worries. It's recorded, so you guys can check it in the Nihon Culture YouTube channel whenever you guys are free. No worry. Okay, so the reason why I divided into half is because the half will be learning the present tense negative. After we revise this one, we'll go for the past tense negative. So we'll go for the first one. Again, this is a lot of writing. I'm so sorry, because it's more to show you how you conjugate it. So for present tense negative. Okay. The first one is what is it? Okay. Verb present tense. And it's in the negative one. Okay. Wait. So the first one would be the explanation for Godan. If you guys remember what Godan is. Godan, which is, it means like 5-level verbs. Godan, 5-level verbs. And some of you guys might wonder what is 5-level verb. It's basically verbs that end with the vowel U. The vowel U. So this one, so the way to conjugate the 5-level verb, which is go down, is so basically what you have to do is that you take the verb hiragana at the end. And then basically what you have to do is you change it to the A vowel. A vowel plus with 9. This one is the A vowel plus with 9. So you guys might be a bit confused, like you guys cannot imagine how it'll be, so I'll show you an example. So the example would be, for example, the first one is kaku. Kaku. So this one means to write. Kaku. So you see this one, the end of hiragana is ku, which is a hiragana that ends with a vowel u. So basically you just change it into this hiragana into a vowel and plus 9. So it will become ka9. No problems, right? Take care. So ku, it will become ka9, ka. And then you add with the 9 at the end. So this is how you conjugate into a negative form. So for example, the second one would be like this one, tatsu. So this one means to stand. Tatsu. So if this one, if you conjugate it, what it'll become? You're close, kanemi. Close, kanemi. It's not ra. It's not ra. Because this one is a two. So if you change it into a R vowel, what will it become?
Tata.
What is it again?
Tata. Mesti tak lah kan?
Tata, and then you add.
9.
So then it will become
Tata 9.
Tata9. So,
Saya hanya mengagak.
and you were correct. So Tata9, it will become Tata9. Okay, Tata9. So. Another one example is this one. Odoru. So odoru means to dance. So if you conjugate it, what will it become? The same format as this one.
Odoranai.
So odoranai. Yep.
Wow.
Odoranai. So. Odoranai. So basically that is how you conjugate the what you call it? The godan verbs. However, there are two exceptions. The first exception is the ones that let me write this. However, chewy. This one it means chewy. Chewy. This one means cautious. How do I spell Is this how you spell cautious? You know what? Issues. This one. Be careful. Yeah. So be careful. It means be careful. Chewy is for the verbs that ends with hiragana u. So you guys might wonder, like, what do you mean? So it is for words like, for example, the words EU, which means to say or to speak, basically, EU, or like kau. This one is EU. This one is kau, which means to buy. Or like au, which is to meet. So if you notice, this what you call it, this verbs ends with the hiragana u here, but they are still under godan verbs. So this one, if you follow this one, you might think like, oh, this might become like nai, you might think like this because I said that the last hiragana you change to the R vowel here. But for this one, no. This one, what you need to do is that you have to change it to wa. So it becomes like this. The last u hiragana, you change it to wa plus with 9. Wa plus with 9. So, Kanemi. So. Okay. So like Kanemi said, so this one, since it is iu, basically you just change the u to wa. So like Kanemi said, iwanai. It'll become iwanai. So if it's kau, then what will become? What will kau become then?
Kawanai.
So, kawanai.
Oh, my stomach hurts.
Yeah.
Oh, my stomach hurts.
So, kawanai. So the u changed to wa, so it will become kawanai. So, and then this one, au.
Awanai.
So, awanai. Awanai. So you do not plus with wanai. It's just that you change the u to wa, Ella. Just you change to wa. And then plus with 9.
Hurts.
So this one will become awanai. Oh. You take the last hiragana u, you change to awanai. So this is the first thing that you have to be careful with, chui, which is the hiragana u, the one that ends with hiragana u. And then there's also another one which is considered as an exception. An exception, which is the word aru, which means there is. So aru, basically this one you have to remember, you basically just change this one. Aru, you just change it to 9. This one is an exception. Basically, this aru, you just change it to 9 only. So Kanemi, because aru is like there is or have, basically. Aru. So 9 is basically the word for don't have or there is none there. So 9. So this one is an exception that you guys have to remember. So that is for godam. Godam. The next one we go is the ichidam. This one. Okay. The next one is ichidan, which means the one level verbs. And you might wonder what is one level verb? It's basically verbs that ends with hiragana, ru. So, ru. So, this one. Okay. So for this ichidan is quite easy to remember because it's basically what you have to do is the ru at the end of the verb, the ru, you change it to 9 only. Change it to 9. The ru at the end of the verb. So for example, it's a verb that we have learned in this chapter actually, which is this one. Oboeru. So this one means to remember. why Aru cannot anai? That one you have to ask the Japanese. I guess it's because it sounds better. Yes, nai is a lot easier. Nai. So this is what I am assuming. So do be careful for that one. It's not anai. So do be careful. So oboeru means to remember. So if you change it to present tense negative, it will become like Kanemi said, oboe nai. So oboe nai. Nai. So the rule here, you change it and become nai over here. Maybe another example, which is this one. Taberu. So taberu means to eat. So if you change it to the negative form, yes, it will become tabenai. Yes, correct, Ella. Tabenai.
So maksud dia tak makan lah kan?
Yes, it means tak makan. So it means like that. It's the negative form of it. So the rule here, you change it to nai. So tabe nai. So that is the ichidan. So far, is there any question? Daijoubu desu ka, minasan? Do you guys understand so far?
大丈夫 yes.
Okay then. Then we go for the next one. So the next one is the irregular verb. Tomate. Oh my, why is my pen like this? Ala. Tomate ni. Okay. So the next one is the irregular verb. So for irregular verb, there is only two of it that you have to remember, which is oh my. Okay. Which is turu and kuru. Turu and kuru. These are the only two that you have to remember. It belongs in the irregular verb. So this one, they don't really have a format like the previous one that we learned. So this one is basically you have to memorize it. So suru, it will become shinai. Shinai. And kuru, it will become konai. So this one you have no choice but to remember actually. So suru, it will become shinai. For example, like benkyou suru, to study. And you change it to the negative present tense, it will become benkyou shinai. So kuru, and then konai. So, is there any question for this one? 大丈夫ですか？
大丈夫 yes.
はい、大丈夫そうですね。
はい。
運転してますよ。
はい。Okay. So the next one is the what you call it, the ikeoshi or the e adjectives. So it is ikeoshi. Which is the e adjectives. Okay. So for this one, the way to memorize it is basically the e at the end. Oh my. The e at the end of the adjective, you just change it to kunai. Under pen. Kunai. So you change to kunai. So for example, like Kanemi gave. First one is kowai. Kowai. So kowai means scary or scared. Scary. Kowai. If you change it to a negative present tense, so this one e at the end you change it to kunai. So basically it will become kawakunai. Kunai at here. So, or another example would be kawaii. So you take this one the last e hiragana, you change it to kunai. So it will become kawaii kunai.
Oh, Japanese is really hard, eh? Wait, how do you learn Japanese?
Kunai. So kawaii kunai.
Hard.
Another one. This one you guys try. This one is wait. No, not this one. Isogashi. So this one means busy. So if you change it, it'll become
Isogakunai. Isogashikunai.
so isogashi kunai. So you just change this one, the last e into, and then it will become isogashi kunai. So the e at the end, you just change it to kunai. So it will become isogashi kunai. So that is basically how you change the e keoshi, the e adjective. The e at the end here, you just change it to kunai. Kunai, kunai, kunai. So that is how you do it. This is basically a recap actually from the last chapter. So, and then we have the what you call it, the na keoshi, the na adjective. Na keoshi, the na adjective. So for na adjective, this one is actually for words like, for example, like kirei. Kirei is a na adjective where when you want to describe someone, you have to add the word na and before the noun. So you'll become like kirei na hito, kirei na sensei, kirei na onna no hito, for example. So this is why the reason they are called na adjective. You have to put na before the noun. And if you use na adjective towards the end of the sentence, you would use da. Da. So for example, like the word kirei, right? Kirei na
Well, means
hito.
Mhm.
This means
Vámonos.
a pretty. Oh my, why am I spelling it like this? Pretty person. Kirei na hito. It's this one, the na. And then if you use it towards the end of the what you call it, the sentence, for example, like hito wa kirei, and this is the end of a sentence, you have to do it da. If it's like the informal, but if it's the formal, like mass form or something like that, this one will actually become this. This one is the long version or like the formal version. Da is the informal one. So, kirei da. So this is the da. Basically, it means like this, but it's like that person is pretty, basically. Okay. So the way to change this is basically you change the na or da. This one, you change it to janai. The na or da, you change it to janai. Wait. Right above here? No, kunai. So, janai. So, for example, like the one that I use over here. Kirei. So, example. Kirei. It's either na or da, depending whether it's explaining a noun or at the end of a sentence. Kirei, which means pretty. So what will it become? What will it become then?
Kirei janai.
So, kirei janai. So, kirei janai. So basically you change this one to this one, janai. So, kirei janai. Yes, kirei janai. So another example would be shizuka na or da, depending on the sentence how you put it. Shizuka. Shizuka means quiet. Wait. Okay. Why is my pen like this? Tomate. Nande. It means quiet. Yeah. So, Shizuka. So sometimes people would say like Shizuka ni stay kudasai, for example. So Shizuka ni means like please be quiet. So Shizuka ni stay kudasai. So Shizuka. So this one, if you change it, what will it become then? Shizuka janai. So Shizuka janai. So how to know if the adjective is na or not? So this one is actually more to memorizing actually. So for example,ちょっと待ってね。じゃあない。静かない。So for example, every at the start of the chapter, we would learn vocabularies like this one, this page, vocabularies. And in the vocabularies part, you would see they would divide it into like whether it's under e adjective or it's under na adjective. So this is where you actually have to memorize it. And usually for e adjective, it would end with the hiragana e at the end here. The hiragana e here. But however, there are certain words of na adjective that ends with e hiragana. For example, the one that I just showed you, which is kirei. Yeah. Like kirei, right? Kirei, even though it's a e at the end, it's actually under na adjective. So this one you have to be careful. So it's more to memorizing based on the words that vocabs we learn every start of the chapter. So yes, Shizuka. So it becomes Shizuka janai. So that is the na keyoshi. Na keyoshi. And lastly, we have noun plus this, or the short form of des. Of des is da. Da. What's the use of word if they ain't gonna use them? What do you mean, Ella? Yes, because kirei falls under the na adjective. It's not an e adjective. So that one you have to be careful. So it's the Japanese. Sometimes they do be quirky. So this one, the last one is noun plus this. So basically, noun plus this is similar to the EKOC basically. So what you have to do is basically the same, which is the da. You change it to janai. Janai. So the da here, you change it to janai. It's the same as the naikyoshi da here. Dame. Actually, dame, you actually use like dame this. And then if you want to say like it's not that you can't, then it'll become dame janai. It actually can use that. So dame. So for example of a noun would be ちょっと待って。学生。学生。学生 means a student. So this is a noun, student. And usually it's 学生 da. You end with da at the end of a sentence. 学生 da. So this one, it'll become what? Basically the da you change to janai. So it'll become 学生 janai. So it'll become like this one. 学生 janai. Another one, last example would be 先生だ。先生だ. For example. So this one, it will become? What will it become?
Sensei janai.
So, 先生じゃない. So, 先生じゃない. So, it will become like that. 先生じゃない. My handwriting. So, 先生じゃない. So that is basically how you change it from present tense affirmative to negative. For this one is only for present tense. Present tense. So this one is actually was in chapter 8 we've learned, but it's more to like revision time because it's quite related to the one that we've learned over here. You will use it again, the formula a bit. So this is the verb present tense negative. So far 大丈夫ですか？皆さん質問ありますか？ Do you have any question?
No question.
大丈夫な
大丈夫な。大丈夫ですね。はい。Then,
大丈夫ですよ。運転中です。
はい。気をつけて。そう。まあ、次は would be verb past tense then. Verb past tense negative. Verb past tense negative. So basically for verb past tense negative, what you have to do is that you take this one, the kakanai, right? This one, the kakanai until the kakanai. So you just change the nai part to nakatta actually. Change the nai part to nakatta. So for example, let me give you an example. So I might as well just put like the grouping. The first one is go down, which is 5 level verb. Again, 5 level verb is the, what you call it, the verb. Oh my. Silap. It's the verb that ends with the vowel u. And what you have to do is basically the nai part from the verb present tense negative. You change it なかった. Like this. ちょっと待って。なんでこの色が違うの？なかった. This nai, you change it to なかった. So you guys might be confused, like what do you mean, sensei, right? So let me show you. ちょっと待って。Oh my. Okay, sorry. Okay. Yes, what do you mean, sensei? Let me show you then. So the first example we'll be seeing would be the one like over here, okay? We follow over here. So the, what you call it? The verb past tense negative for kaku is kakanai, right? Kakanai. So this one is present tense, negative. However, if you want to change it to past tense, the kakanai, example like kakanai over here, this kakanai, you take the nai here and then you change it into nakatta. Then it'll become kaka na katta. So kaka nakatta. It'll become like that. Kaka na katta. Wrapping. So kaka nakatta. So that is how you change it to, what do you call it, to past tense negative. So the next example would be tatanai. So if it's tatanai, what will it become? Minasan, what will it become then? If it's tatanai. Tatanakatta. So it will become tatanakatta. Yes, tatanakatta. The nai here, you change it to nakatta over here. Tatanakatta. So, and then we have odoranai. So if it's odoranai, what will it become? Odoranakatta. So that is correct.
Okay.
Yes, odoranakatta. Oh my. I'm writing too big. Odoranakatta. So, odoranakatta will become like that. Yes. So basically, it's quite easy to do the verb past tense negative if you know how to do the present tense negative. That's why I do the revision today, because it's basically, it comes from here. You just have to change a bit only. That's why I do all of this. However, the present tense is a lot more because they have some few exceptions here and there. But basically, for the verb past tense, it's just changing the nai to nakatta. And this applies to all of the verbs. Ichida and irregular. Yeah, irregular verb is also applies to irregular verbs. So, for example, the next example I show you would be the ichidan. Why am I moving this? Okay. Paste. Example would be ichidan. So, for example, this one is basically the same way of this one. Okay. So it is the same way. The same. So for example, like this one, obo e nai. So if this one, what will it become?
Oboe nakata.
So oboe nakatta. That is correct. Oboe. Oh my handwriting. Oboe nakata. Kata. So it's oboe nakatta. Yes. And then for example, like this one, tabenai. What will it become?
Tabe nakata.
So tabenakatta. Yes, that is correct. Tabenakatta. Yes. So that is how you can change this for ichidan verbs too. Basically, it's just the same as how you do this one. You take the present negative form and you just change it to nakata. So the same goes for irregular verbs. So basically, irregular verbs. Right there. So for irregular verb, if it's shinai, then what will it become? Basically the same way as this one.
Shinakata. Ah,
そうそう、しなかった。そうそうそう、しなかった。そう、しなかった。If it's 来ない、
来ないかった。
イエーイ
what was it? What was it again?
来ないかった。
You do not take the E. This one.
来
そう
なかった。
そう、来なかった。そうそう。
Yes, yes.
Oh my.
イエ
来なかった。そう。Yes, that is how you change it. 来なかった basically is the same as this one. The same goes for everything down here. The next one is ikeoshi. Ikeoshi also the same as the others. Okay, this one. Okay. Ikeoshi. So for example, like kowaku nai. Then what will it become? Kowaku nai. Then what will it be?
なかった。
そう、怖くなかった。
Ya Allah, panjangnya.
怖くなかった。くなかった。Okay, 怖くなかった。Oh my handwriting. やばい。可愛くない。Then what will it become?
かわくなかった。
かわい。
かわいくなかった。
そう、可愛くなかった。くなかった。And then the last one? 忙しい。
忙しくなかった。
そう、忙しくなかった。しくなかった。So 忙しくなかった。So again, it's basically all coming to this one. You just have to memorize this one. Yeah. Okay, we'll just do the practice for the Nakyoshi then. Copy. Paste. Nakiyoshi. Copy, paste. Okay. So the nakiyoshi, so 綺麗じゃない. So what will it become?
Kira jana
Janakata. Again.
そう。お前。綺麗じゃなかった。そうじゃなかった。Yes. And then 静かじゃない?
Shizuka Janakata.
そう。静かじゃなかった。
Oh my god. It's getting longer and longer.
そう静かじゃなかった。静
How
か
does
じゃ
Sensei say it so fast?
Shizuka jana kata. Kena
さ
practice.
静かじゃなかった。じゃなかった。そう。Nakiyoshi. And then lastly would be the nouns and the noun plus this. Noun plus this and this one. Copy. Paste. Okay. If it's 学生じゃない, what will it become?
Gakusei jana kata.
そう、学生じゃなかった。学生じゃなかった。Oh, my handwriting やばい。やばすぎ。じゃなかった。Okay. And the last one.
Aku nak tulis.
Sensei Janakata.
そう、先生じゃなかった。先生じゃなかった。So that is the reason why I do a revision between with the verb present tense negative and then I continue for the verb past tense. Because it's basically related to this one, it's just you have to change a bit from the nai to nakata. So this is basically what we learn. We learn for this one. These are the things that we learn for this one. So we've already learned verb, which is destri, the go down, the 5 level, ichidan, the 1 level, and then the irregular. And then the e adjective, as well as the na adjective. And then lastly, the noun plus des. So basically, that is what we learned for this one. So far, 大丈夫ですか? 質問ありますか?
Yes,
ありません。
yes.
Right.
Coba nak
Are you- 大丈夫な answer. So we have 6 minutes. Let me see.
Rencana high. Table.
I want to go for the.
Eh,
I want to go to the next one, but I can't because it might take some time. So
let's go.
you guys gone.
Laju je Anis. Anis pula.
Ya Allah, tak pernah kita lanjut.
But I don't think we tak sempat ke untuk buat this one. It might take some time because it also involve this kind of stuff here, like this. It involves a bit. So this one we have to go for the next class. Zanin dagara. Okay, so I guess we'll do a bit of reading practice over here.
Ya.
Anyone wants to try?
Wait. Sui-san wa
Mm-hmm.
something no. I cannot see the small one.
Okay.
Koko no toki no ga
Toki. This one is not no.
Ka-
Toki.
me ga ne wo
Mm-hmm.
kakete ita to ite oh my god. Imashita.
So,
Yes.
so.
Oh my god, kalau
So.
baca dekat kelas asal tak boleh.
大丈夫。そうそうそう。That is correct. So, スーさんは高校の時メガネをかけていたと言っていました。そう。で、スーさんは高校の時メガネをかけていたと言っていました。So actually a new grammar is it? プーさんは高校 actually means it means high school. 高校 high school の時 so this 時 actually represents time so it kind of like the meaning of if you use like this whole sentence 高校の時 it kind of means like back during high school so it means this one 高校の時 so this 時 represent time or like a moment back then basically 高校の時メガネ so メガネ means glasses wait メガネ means glasses をかけていた so this one かけていた this one comes from the verb かける which this one in more on the context of to wear and usually you use this with the word the noun glasses to wear glasses かけるメガネをかける so かけていた this one is a past tense so basically it wants to say that back then Susan wore glasses back then and then と言っていました this one we've learned previously と言ってました is something that a person said it back then so this one 言って comes from the word iyo which means to say or speak basically. So 言っていました basically kind of like the meaning said. So in this context it means that she's Susan said that she wore glasses back in high school back then in high school basically in this sentence. So スーさんは高校の時メガネをかけていたと言っていました。Next one.
Baca.
Next one.
私はトムさんがたった
This one?
やったやったと思います。思います。
そう。私はトムさんがやったと思います。私はトムさんがやったと思います。So 私は of course everyone knows it represents me or I 私はトムさんが so トムさん is a name of person トムさんがやった so やった comes from the word やる which means this one is to do since it's in past tense やった it means did basically やったと思います so と思います this one is a word a grammar that we've learned before which is like giving an opinion actually giving an opinion where it's like I think like more to like saya rasa if it's in Malay So basically, it's more the meaning of this context is that I think Tom did it. So yatta to omoimasu. This one usually used for yourself. You do not say it like someone thinks that they did it. You don't use that one. This one is more yourself. What you think, an opinion that you think. So, yatta to omoimasu. And then we have this one. Anyone wants to read this one? Anyone?
Yes.
Got
Let's
it.
go. Oh no.
I know.
Bangohan
Mm.
tabemasu. Tabeta.
And then?
Yeah, but I flushed it. Did not flush it.
Uh,
I flushed away though.
Tabeta. Yes.
Perhaps clear that way.
Bangohan
Oh, my one's split. Split. My one's
tabeta.
shaped not like a long lodge.
Bangohan. So bangohan means dinner. This one.
It's not like
Dinner. Tabeta. So this one is more than like since it's this one is the what you call it, the informal speech. So you just use tabeta, a question mark, tabeta. So have you had your dinner yet? Gohan tabeta, usually. And then the reply would be, tabeta. Tabeta. So, here represents yes. If it's like the long one, oh my. If it's this one, it means no. So, so. Gohan, bangohan tabeta? Mada tabete nai. If it's tabeta, then yes. So yes. And then lastly, anyone wants to read this?
Let me try.
どうぞ。
Suisan wa
Yes.
Yes?
sorry. Suisan wa Nihongo o benkyou shite iru
So,
toite imashita.
そう。スーさんは、
上手ですね。マジ上手ですね。
日本語を勉強していると言っていました。So, スーさんは日本語。So, 日本語 is actually the Japanese language. Japanese language. スーさんは日本語を勉強している。としている、何々ている actually represent an activity that you are currently doing. Currently doing and will continue doing it. Doing it. So, している. This one is actually a previous grammar that we've learned. 勉強していると言っていました. So, 言っていました is usually when you are quoting someone what they said before. Basically what that person. Why is it like this? My pen, oh my god. It's making my handwriting like this. What that person said, basically. Free and no worries, no worries. It's okay, tell them it's okay, no worries. So yes, basically in this context, it means Sue said that she was studying Japanese. Sue さんは日本語を勉強していると言っていました。So this one is something that you use when you are quoting someone what they said before. So yes, that is for the short form what was it? Short form negative. So short form past tense negative. Yes, that one. So the next class we'll be learning on qualifying nouns with verb and adjective, where this one is used for like, how do you say it? It's more to like, what was the word? Modifying a noun to make it more specific. So this one also.
Sensei. So basically, we're covering modifying clauses for next class next week.
Yes.
Oh, it's going to be a field day next week.
Yeah, it might be a bit confusing for some people, but I'm pretty sure we'll get through it. So
Hi, Sensei. By the way, I did my races while the class was running. I did catch everything you said. Like, for example, you talked about the informal